Hello guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Gav, aka BEYTEK, and for all you new subscribers, welcome along. Today in this video, what we're going to be doing is taking apart K24 engine, because I'm going to be building this one for the Kswap RX7. So yeah, first things, what we need to do, we'll get cracking straight on into it, is get this RX7 outside so I've got some room, get the engine stand, get it all mounted up, and start stripping it down. Now this video is not going to be a how-to because, like, to be fair, if you're watching this you probably know how to take apart an engine. If you don't, it's just lefty loosey, righty tighty. So, or mainly lefty loosey. So some of you guys know, if you're a Honda guy, this bolt here is an absolute shitmare to get off. It's a 19mm bolt, it's absolutely solid, and I bent all sorts of tools trying to get it off. But I eventually did, with a little bit of heat, pry bar, and the big... Right, so I've got the engine kind of bolted onto this plate here, and this is the half of... well, one half of the engine stand. So I think... I'm not really sure how I'm going to get it up. I should probably use the engine crane, but I want to have a wee plate. I want to see if I can actually get this thing to roll up. Like if I can kind of stand on it and has it as a lever or something like that. I don't think I've got the leverage. Unless I could get a pipe in here. Oh, that's what you got. That's what you... Oh, it looks so squint. Oh, wait a second. Is that in the wrong way round? You fucking bastard. I think it might be. I think it's supposed to go up the way. Well, I know it works. Let's do it again. That's better. Now she's on the stand. Can get all around her. Yeah, I had a bit of a problem because this was the wrong way. Because I used the pipe, I actually bent the bottom, bent this, so I couldn't slide it back through again. So, yeah, on the vise, bend it straight again. And yeah, she's ready to come apart now. So, we'll start first is we'll just whip all this shit off here. We'll just take the loom off, chuck the loom to the side, and start taking off auxiliaries. Yeah, so I was here, and I noticed at the back here, these are the cams. You've got exhaust cam, and you've got inlet cam. It's interesting that this is a 90 degrees, so in actual fact, if you were K-swapping a car and you were finding, you know, this is the K24, this is why I can't use the K24 head, is the thermostat housing is actually on the back of a K24 head. On the K20 it's on the sides or thing, so easy modified. But yeah, these cam position sensors here, you know, this is 90 degrees, so that would be handy because most cars, their firewalls are going to be here and it could damage plugs. But yeah, anyway, I'm getting distracted. So I was noticing there was like oil along here, oil down the side, kind of dripping down here and that. And this was loose, like completely loose. It looks like it's just vibrating loose, so that's popped out itself. So it was leaking oil down it. It's maybe one of the reasons, you know, if it was leaking oil and it failed its MOT or something like that. And they didn't want to repair it, maybe thought it was going to be a big bill or something, they maybe scrapped it. So hopefully this engine's okay. I don't even know the mileage on it, to be honest, but not that that really matters. So what I'm going to do now is whip off inlet manifold and auxiliaries. I've got like the wire loom off there and some of the other gubbins, but yeah, we'll just keep tearing into it. Well, so far so good. Valves actually look all straight and none of them are bent. And runners look quite clean, so happy with that so far. Yeah, bolt box is getting bigger. We're pulling there, we're getting stuff off. We just took off the housing there, the water pump and the full lot in a winner. Took off the heat shield. And look at this, oh, pretty cool, eh? 4-into-1 manifold. Now just letting the oil sort of come out it. I thought the oil would have been out it already, to be honest, but I can't. Nope, it was still in there, so never take things for granted. No making too much a mess yet, but this floor will be absolutely clotty by the time we're done. Taking engines apart is such a messy job. Yeah, there's plenty of oil in it, that's for sure. Exhausts, valves are all straight, so that's good. Well, while that's draining, I'll start pulling off rocker cover, and we'll see the condition inside the engine. We'll see if it's had any oil changes in its life. Look at this. Looks really clean. I'm really happy with that. The RBB oil gear, obviously I'll be using the K20 head, so none of this stuff's really going to matter just now. But it is actually in really nice condition. So I am partly, well, the rocker covers and stuff had been painted, and you know the covers over there had been painted, which tells me that somebody did love it at some point, so it's always nice to see. You can see here, this is the pickups. You know, I have four pickup teeth that the cam position sensors run on my K20. I use obviously VVTi or VTC, known as Honda, and I only use a crank sensor and one of these cam sensors, and then the max ECU figures out exactly which one is top dead center, and that's how we get sequential fueling. So just feeling here, you know, having a wee feel to see where we're at. Nothing's loose, nothing's cracked, nothing so far in the oil, by the looks of it, doesn't have any sort of metallic-y substances. Not like a, you know, it's not got shite in it basically. Oh, yes. Spring didn't go flying. These are like lost motion springs, they call them. The rocker assembly. So now we can get to all the head bolts. I'm not even sure what size they are, but we'll soon figure out. Fucking hell! Oh, they're on fucking tight, man. Right, so pull all the head studs out now, cams are out, and just a way to go and start cracking this head off the block. So there we go. So just I'll get my secret assistant to HUD this a second. Secret assassin. Yeah. Oily burn there, but it could be like from valve stem seals or something like that, let's be honest. And they're looking in no bad condition, just kind of the oily way. Multi-layer steel gasket, standard, and yeah. So the bores themselves are okay. They don't look scratched anyway. I'll turn it down, check the middle ones in a minute. Yeah, I can see some slight sort of scoring here from the skirt of the piston. But main thing is there's no cracks. So obviously we're not using these pistons, and we're not using the rods either. So the barrels, bores will probably just get a bit of a hone, and I'm going to check them for round as well. So yeah, same here. You can see some slight sort of, you can't feel it, but you can definitely see some sort of shine in there. So I'm happy with this so far, and you guys will probably know I'm going to be using epoxy in here. So be filling the block sort of partially the way up till about 20mm from the top with the sugar, and then I'll be pouring in crisp Boyer block filler right around there, so the epoxy, and that basically just holds the top stop the barrels from flexing and from, you know, wobbling. It's a bit fucking squeaky, like. Fucking hell, man. How the fuck do we get the chain off? Did we just cut it?
Get the angle grinder out.
I think we need to try and fucking stop it from spinning or something. And then use an impact gun. A manky oil pump. I see these balance shafts.
Yeah.
Counter rotate to taking the vibrations of the engine. Fucking hell, my hands are manky. The rods. So we'll take off this windage tray. We'll pull all the main bolts and the bolts from the side for the cradle. We'll pull that off. We'll probably have to pull off the engine mount. And we'll get to the crank and the rods. Yeah, that's not bad, like. Very, 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 very minimal. The rods, they do actually look quite beefy. These K24 rods. That's a lot of pressure to bend one of them. I've never been bending fucking rods. But yeah, that's really really surprising. They do look really good. This was the wear marks I was on about. You can see here in the skirt which has been rubbing on the barrel. And that can just happen over time. Yeah, these rings, oil scrapers are looking a bit gummed up. So yeah, the engine looks healthy. How's it going, guys? So yeah, we're at this stage now. I've whipped all the pistons out. Crank, trans, that's beautiful. If you look at these journals as well, they're absolutely spotless. No scoring on them. Because I need to use this crank and need to use the journals. So yeah, I'm actually really happy. I want to pull these off here. I'm not sure if I should just use these mains and then just go for uprated rod bearings, but to be honest, I'll probably just go for uprated everything because you know, the reason you uprate your bearings is because when you get detonation, that force on the piston pushes down the rod, tries to bend the rod, and then when it doesn't bend the rod, it just pushes on the shell, and the shell squishes out a bit. So stock ones can be a bit soft, which is good for getting shite in it, but you know, sticking in it, but bad for detonation. So it's bending my pry bar, so I better make sure there's no extra bolts in there. Yeah, same as before, a couple of scratches. You can see some of these scratches are just from like starting up, or just a bit of shite in general being dragged around them. It actually looks like it's been sat in one position for a while as well. You can see from these marks, but the layers have not worn down, so that is very, very good news. So rear main seal, box of bits. Here we have it. It's absolutely perfect as well. So I'm actually really happy because what that means is I can get away with stock bearings, stock size bearings. I don't have to grind the crank, nothing like that. Check these oil squirters. They all look good. They've not had a dink, any knocks, so that's good. Everything looks clean here. I'll look at the mains at this side. Yeah, same. It's just a bit of staining, but it's maybe sat for a while. But in general, really good condition. So I'll flip it around. I'm going to check the ovalness of the bore. A quick check of the crank sizes. Document them on the camera just to make sure Everything's all okay. Right, so we're getting somewhere. We've now got the cradle off, the mains, everything looks absolutely perfect. Everything is way in spec, like actually brand spanking new, straight out of the factory. Same with the bores. I was just making sure, you know, they weren't ovaled as well, and yeah, they're all chewed up. Made sure they're in spec and ready to go. So it was one of my thoughts, so I could bore this out to 0.5 mm more, but to be honest, I'm just going to use a stock crank size, stock piston size, which is 87 mm, and then I can use standard size rod bearings and main bearings. So yeah, I'm pretty impressed with the type and shape and size of the stock K24 parts. I think the rods would actually take a bit of boost, so for sure. But yeah, the place is an absolute pigsty, and it's going to be me finished for the night anyway. So here, guys, thank you very much for coming along. Like I say, it's not a how-to because I don't know how to do it. I've just first time doing one of these engines and just started to pick things apart, and yeah, it's all kind of come together. It's now fully stripped down, and I'm going to order some parts from Parts for Japan. Probably go to the Real Street Performance or Matt at GT Torque. Is it GT Torque? I think it's GT Torque. He's got to sort me out a decent price as well. Valve springs, I'll probably put in some valve springs because although I'm not revving high, I'm only revving to like 8,500, but the thing is, a lot of boost is going to be trying to push them valves open. They might start to float. I just want a little bit more seat pressure, so I'll probably go for like £95 springs or something like that from like SuperTech or something. Yeah, and I'll be putting that in the K20 head. The K20 will be pulling apart probably in the next video or so, and we suppose I want to see the bottom end because this bottom end's fucked, but mainly for the top to make sure that's all okay, and we'll obviously do the valve stem seals and all that jazz as well on that. We're getting there, we're going K24, see what the hype's about. Right guys, thanks for watching again, and we'll catch you in the next vid. Cheers.